Good morning, everyone. For most of us who's been attending online events in the midst of this pandemic, I'm sure one of the key insight that most of us are looking for is how to move forward and what the post-pandemic situation of our customers will be. But more importantly, how will our organizations and our customers' organizations will be differentiating itself? And how will the adoption of technology be that differentiation? I'm Ferdisa Putil and I lead the Google Cloud business in the Philippines. And this is the conversation we normally have with our customers as they pivot their business. But aside from the transformation of the business, one thing that is mostly overlooked is the transformation of the market itself. Especially now, where we have been working from home for almost 2 years, our kids are all distance learners. And aside from food, water, internet connection has become a necessity. There is so much at stake during these times, and for others, it's not just to transform the business, but survival as well. And the path forward is always not that clear. We have heard so many insights, and most of you have probably attended a lot of webinars, but what might work for one may not work for another. Just some quick insights on what the transformation of the digital market is during this pandemic. For Southeast Asia alone, there are 40 million additional internet users. It took us 5 years to add 100 million, but this is 40% in just 1 year. And 1 out of 3 of our internet users have tried a new digital service just during this pandemic alone, with the Philippines second to Vietnam. But for me, one of the most interesting insight is that for the Philippine market, majority of our users are coming from non-metro areas, which means that the digital market that we now know is not limited to metro areas. And we have all seen the memes of how COVID-19 became the digital transformation lead for most organizations. And this is so true, but not just for the business. Again, it's also with the market. If you're like me with 3 kids doing distance learning from home, you can just imagine that now all child, teenager, and college student are experienced distance learners. I've seen my son and daughters with 2 devices in front of them while attending a class, chatting with friends, and doing paper notes. The best of the past and the present. This profound and staggering transformation is not a new emergence. However, but the latest stage of centuries-long process to enhance our communication tools. This process doesn't unfold in a very linear way, but in waves. And these waves are triggered by paradigm shifts. The most important ones to consider in recent history are printing, computing, and today, cloud-based technologies. But not all organizations are able to survive the waves of transformation. Just look at encyclopedias and Encarta. Just as I mentioned at the beginning, we're also in this cusp of transformation. The question is, will your organizations survive? And there are organizations who actually survive the centuries of waves of transformation. And one good case study is Nintendo. During the printing era, they actually manufactured game cards called Hanafuda cards. And when LCD screens were invented, they moved to Game & Watch, then to consoles, and mobile with Pokemon Go. And now with the most popular gaming device, Nintendo Switch. So as you can see, they have managed to ride that wave of transformation and still very much be relevant today. And why is that others fail and others survive? This is because of the danger of how and the power of why. As you all know, transformation is a mindset, and most organizations are stuck in the how. How do we do our business, how we manufacture our products, and how we sell them? And there's a lot of pride and tradition on the how because of the years of efficiency and structure that we have brought in. The power of why is different, and for Nintendo, their why has not changed over the centuries, and that is we want people to play. Regardless of platform, technology, or process that they have built over the years, their core remains constant: to make people play. For Google, our why is to organize the world's information to make it universally accessible and useful. And that has not changed for the past 22 years as well. Our how is a different story. Our products have evolved over the years, and without a lot of people noticing, how we have actually integrated a lot of machine learning and AI in all of our products over the years, from search ranking to doing search via voice recognition, the YouTube's recommendation engines, maps and ways with navigation recommendation, Google Translate, Google Lens, and more, all ML and AI powered. You cannot organize the world's information if you are not a data company. And you cannot make it meaningful and useful if you're not using machine learning and AI. But everything has to start with data. And this is a universal journey for all organizations and everybody, and everybody are in different maturity models. One starts by becoming an organization that uses data for its decision making. Then you evolve into making sure that you are able to consolidate the data. And then eventually you have at least integrated first party, second party, or third party data. Then you start looking for insights from all of this data. Then you train the data to start predicting outcomes. And ultimately, you start democratizing the data and insights to all of your stakeholders. But data mastery is not a siloed journey. And I go back, it has to be aligned to your why. It has to be aligned to business outcomes and not just for the sake of technology. It has to be part of your organizational transformation. And based on our experience, this is what we are seeing as the three dimensions of success. Culture is about automating repetitive and ungrateful tasks while enhancing collaboration or ideation with a constant information feed with users who are now constantly connected and online too. For Google, the productivity platform that we use is Google Workspace. It is a driver of our collaboration and ideation, especially now where most of us are working from home and our interaction is mostly done digital. Actually, there is a Forrester report showing that the more remote work experience matters. A great work from home experience drives employee engagement and retention, which in return drives great customer experience that drives revenue. Now, the question is, how is this related to data mastery? We will be surprised on the amount of data generated by our employees. But more than that, a culture of collaboration and openness is the key to data mastery. You need people to be open to change based on what the data is saying. Business is about having clarity on what's happening with internal systems for ERP, customer management, or sales, and external sources such as IoT sensors, weather data, or even digital marketing data. And using all of this to make informed decisions supported by the technology. It's also defining what are the desired business outcomes, and everything should be anchored in it as well. Technology is about an intelligence that works for the business and empowers people with analytics and recommendation. It allows you to transform with confidence, to leverage the power of cloud, reinvent the way you do business, and leapfrog from competition. Google is a cloud native company, and we've been using cloud since day one, probably before it was even called cloud services. You cannot organize the world's information if you're not a cloud company. To deliver the intuitiveness of our consumer products and reliability to our enterprise customers, we need to make sure that we invent new ways of doing data, ML, and AI, and also performance at a global scale with our own global network and software-defined data centers that delivers compute or data query at scale. And there have been clear studies on how this business transformation actually generates value. This is a study from McKinsey on cloud adoption. And in the area just on cost optimization, it's expected to drive at least 430 billion worldwide savings or revenue. And for those who are driving more innovation, will generate 770 billion worldwide. Now, at this point, let me introduce Google Cloud and how we drive this transformation in organization. But first, some history. Cloud computing has five fundamental attributes. First, customers get computing resources on demand and self-service. Cloud computing customers use an automated interface and get the processing, power storage, and network they need with no human intervention. Second, they can access these resources over the network. Third, the provider of these resources has a big pool of them that allocates them to customers out of the pool that allows providers to get economies of scale by buying in bulk. Customers don't know how or care about the exact physical location of these resources. And fourth, the resources are elastic. Customers who need more resources can get more rapidly when they need less, and they can scale back. And last, the customers pay only for what they use or reserve as they go. If they stop using the resource, they stop paying. The first wave of the trend towards cloud computing was actually colocation. Colocation gave users the financial efficiency of renting physical space instead of investing in data center real estate. Virtualized data centers of today, the second wave, share similarities with the private data centers and colocation facilities of decades past. The components of virtualized data centers match the physical building blocks of hosted computing server, CPUs, disks, load balancers, and so on. But now they are virtual devices. Virtualization does provide a number of benefits. Your development teams can move faster, and you can turn capital expenses into operating expenses. With virtualization, you still maintain the infrastructure. It is still a user-controlled and user-configured environment. About 10 years ago, Google realized that its business couldn't move fast enough within the confines of a virtualization model. So Google switched to a container-based architecture, a fully automated elastic third wave cloud that consists of a combination of automated services and scalable data services. Services automatically provision and configure the infrastructure used to run application. Today, Google Cloud makes this third wave cloud available to Google customers. Google believes that in the future, every company, regardless of size or industry, will differentiate itself from its competitors through technology. Largely, the technology will be in the form of a software. Great software is centered on data. Thus, every company is or will become a data company. Google Cloud provides a wide variety of services for managing and getting value from data at scale. Now, virtualized data centers brought you infrastructure as a service, or IaaS, and platform as a service, or PaaS offerings. IaaS offerings provide you with raw compute, storage, and network organized in ways familiar to you from physical and virtualized data centers. PaaS offerings, on the other hand, bind your code to libraries and provide access to the infrastructure that your application needs, thus allowing you to focus on your application logic. In the IaaS model, you pay for what you allocate. In the PaaS model, you pay for what you use. As cloud computing has evolved, the momentum has shifted toward managed infrastructure and managed services. And according to some publicly available estimates, Google's network carries as much as 40% of the world's internet traffic every day. Google's network is the largest network of its kind on Earth. Google has invested billions of dollars over the years to build it. It is designed to give customers the highest possible throughput and lowest possible latencies for their applications. The network interconnects at more than 90 internet exchanges and more than 100 points of presence worldwide. When an internet user sends traffic to a Google resource, Google's edge caching nodes respond to users' requests from an edge network location that will provide the lowest latency. Now, this image also shows Google's data center in Hamina, Finland. The facility is one of the most advanced and efficient data centers in the Google fleet. Its cooling system, which uses seawater from the Bay of Finland, reduces energy use and is the first of its kind anywhere in the world. Google is one of the world's largest corporate purchaser of wind and solar energy. Google has been 100% carbon neutral since 2007 and will shortly reach 100% renewable energy sources for its data center. The virtual world is built on physical infrastructure, and all of these racks of humming servers use vast amounts of energy. Together, all existing data centers use roughly 2% of the world's electricity. So Google works to make data center run as efficiently as possible. And now, just to make it more tangible, this is what a typical journey for a retail company who is actually looking into a transformation with cloud. And here, you will look for your quick wins to drive confidence and learnings as you need the whole organization to be on board and see what the new digital process would be for you. Back to your new how. Then you look into your disruptive services. A good example would be how best to deliver customer delight by knowing your customers better. Then you look into the development as you now look into expanding your services and offerings. and then transformation as you create new ways and smarter user experiences, usually with more machine learning and AI. And as mentioned, our dimensions of success are still anchored on business outcomes. From my retail journey example, these are just some of the business outcomes that can come out of it. From customers adopting more of your services from a mobile platform as part of their lifestyle, to a superstore where a post-pandemic scenario would be more touchless, to super services where your offerings now is beyond retail, as we now aim to deliver more convenience, or looking into data monetization with your retail partners for performance marketing. And for me, a good scenario would be exponential partnerships when you work with leading partners in driving differentiated services. Which brings me to my last slide. Transformation is all about your ability to focus on the why and evolve on the how. It relies on driving new culture, innovative business models, and confidence in cloud as a technology platform. And for this, you should anchor it on clear business outcomes and work with cloud partners that deliver sustainable partnerships beyond technology. And with that, thank you for the opportunity. And again, good morning to everyone.